Right, hi there. I'm going to do a quick review of two tomahawks of mine. First is the K5 tactical spike, then the Omnivore Bladeworks Recon. Both fantastic tomahawks, both for their own reasons. Both do an excellent job towards their intended design. I like both. However, depending on what I choose to do with them, obviously they have their pros and cons. Now, the first one, the K5 Hawk, I'm not going to go into much detail. User Knuckle Duster Book did a fantastic review. This is the exact same one that used to belong to him, so I'm not going to go into much detail on it. I'll provide a link if you want to find more about it. The K5 Hawk, first let's go into to sheaths here. It's a basic Krydex sheath, works very well for how you use it. It's a slide in the bottom type sheath with a strap front and the back to add the retention. The only thing I had complaint about this one was that sometimes if I was moving around a lot, even with the strap in the front, you notice that you get a little bit of a peak in the bottom edge of the blade here, and that it's sharp. Now, I was worried not so much about cutting myself on it. However, it is possible if you're grabbing really quick or something like that, you will get yourself cut. But as well, I was worried about, say, getting materials, my backpack, or clothing stuck on it, or cut on it. This edge has already led to me having to do some sewing in the apartment here. So, leaving that, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more coverage in the head, but other than that, works very well. I like the straps. I did replace this one, it was broken, but comes in and out pretty easy, but not so easy that you're worried about it coming out when you don't want it to. I tried doing some jumping around with this with the straps open, and it did retain it quite well. It did come out a little bit, but not too bad. The sheath on the also uses a tech lock to mount, works very well. I had it on the side of my backpack, and it did stay on very well. I have tech locks in a bunch of my other sheaths for knives, and I'm a big fan. Now, I've never seen a sheath so well made than the thing on this. I have lots of knives, but this sheath takes the cake. It uses a paddle to mount, taking it off just so we can take a look at it closer. It's a rather larger sheath, obviously, compared to the K5, but you should see how well made it is. It's Krydex as well. I opted for green because it matches the blade. A little bit it comes out a little bit more for these parts here. That's how the paddle mounts on. I'll go into that in a second. But it sits nicely in the middle. You'll see, very cool. First time I've seen this, uses a micarta spacer, the front and the back, which allows for a little bit wider in the base, so the Hawk sits very nicely in the center. Now, for mounting, rather than a tech lock, what he has here is basically, I call it a paddle, and you can mount it either side depending on how you want it. You could take these off and flip them on the other side, and then sit it here, or for this way. Yeah, using lots of screws. You have these screws here that screw into these holes, and sits on top. Now, retention, it will not come out. I tell you that, it will not come out. Even with the strap, even say I had these straps on, yeah, great, you should see this. What he has here, utilizing the spacer in front, he has elastic cord here with the metal bar and washers. Very simple design, something you could repair really easily if you needed to, if something happens that you got cut, whatever. Slides back, uses this little notch here, slides back, and comes out. Not too hard, not too easy. To resheath it, very brilliant design. It takes a little practice, a little bit more practice than just sliding the bottom like the K5. But the bottom part here hooks in to the bottom of the micarta here and uses like a pivot. It slides so smooth, and then you can just lock it, unlock it, pull, comes out. Now, just to compare the blades here, a little bit, it's big, definitely a little bit bigger, and the Recon's a little bit longer. K5 I have measured at about 16.5 inches, and the Recon I have at 18.5 inches, so a little bit a little bit longer in the handle. Now, K5 has already been reviewed. It's a very thick blade. It's heavy. It's definitely heavier than the Recon, even though the Recon's bigger. Thickness has to do with thickness, a little bit of materials, of everything. K5, 3/8 thick all the way, front and back. Handles are aluminum handles, T6 aluminum. They're slabs. They make it an inch thick at the handle. Definitely a lot more feel to it. Definitely a lot heavier. So when you're swinging it, it got a lot more power behind it, which makes this thing what it is, which is a great breacher. It's a lot thicker. Now the thing I found that wasn't really working for me, because I do more hunting and camping, hiking, all that, is that you get a lot wider angle, a lot wider angle, and the angle only starts here. It's hard to tell with the paint, but you'll see that it starts here, and that's where your angle goes, from 3/8 to the tip. I did sharpen it with an Edge Pro, so it is a little bit sharper than what it came with, but it still doesn't penetrate very well into wood. Penetrating into a door or some other place that you're trying to get into, absolutely, this thing is the way to go. The Recon, however, is thinner, uses a 1/4 inch steel, thick steel, and then the handles, makes it a 3/4 inch wide. Obviously a little bit more with the paracord there. Here I've opted for foliage green paint job with natural color micarta, and he's added a bit of tan paracord here, which isn't typical. He did this just to show the paracord tying, which is really well done, really consistent, very tight, and makes it really comfortable to hold on to it, this part. The balance point's right about here, which is about the same thing here for the K5, so kind of similar in where the handle point. The other cool thing I like of the design here is this point here. It's not just for looks. If you want to choke up when you're, say, whittling for making fire starter slivers, it forms right into your hand right there. So if you're doing fine work, doing some slivering like that, he's got the holes here for a little bit of a weight reduction, and little hole here for adding a lanyard or some other attachment. And basically, fantastic design. It's sharp as hell. He's sharpened inside here, along this edge and all along the top, which makes it phenomenal for sharpening. But you got to be careful, because this thing will cut you. He made this shaving sharp. I can shave with it right now if I wanted to. K5 obviously wasn't sharp, but it's not really designed to be more as much of a finesse design. Obviously the prices are different. These run about $200 or so, and this one varies widely depending on your options in handle design, or handle material I should say. Basically different designs, paint job, if you want paracord, vice micarta. He can add camo to it as well. He does some really good camo jobs with I think it's Cerakote he uses. And this is made of 1095 carbon steel. This is made with 1050, so pretty similar, I'd say, in materials. This one's CNC. I'm not sure exactly the design, how it goes to making these, but differentially hardened. Pretty sure it's pretty similar with this one as well. But both fantastic hawks. Definitely do the job they're intended for. This one fantastic for me for bushcraft. So if I want to go out hiking, camping, fishing, this is going to be a little bit more useful for me. I did take this in the bush. I did try to abuse it, and it just wasn't really working for me when it came to what I planned to use it for. So great. Regardless, like both, but for me, I'm not going to make judgments for other people. But for me, definitely the Recon does the finer work, the finesse work that I was looking for. This is a heavy-duty tank. If you want to go through anything, this is the one you want. So take that as you may, but I'll add a link to both if you want to check them out. But for the most part, I think you'll be happy with either, but depending on what you're doing, who knows, you may like one or the other. I'm a smaller guy, I'm not a huge giant guy, so I like the lighter weight on this, and I'm obviously not some assaulter that's going to be banging down doors anytime soon, so cutting wood is a thing for me. Clearing areas for fishing I enjoy, so that's me, but that's definitely might not be you, but enjoy. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll answer them the best I can. Thanks a lot.